Talk a little bit more technology with ZUUM Transportation and Mustafa Azizi, the founder and CEO at ZUUM. How are you doing today, Mustafa?
Good morning, sir. I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. I am doing great. As always, it's good to see you again. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Why don't you introduce yourself real quickly to our audience?
Yeah, my name is Mustafa Azizi. I'm the CEO and co-founder of ZUUM Transportation. We're a digital freight brokerage, but we also do a second thing, which is we offer our software to other stakeholders in the industry.
Great. So let's talk about your software and talk about what you're doing over at ZUUM.
Yeah, so last time I came on your show, I think I let you down a little bit because you like it when you bring props, and I brought a tech demo, but that wasn't enough for you. So you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make up for it today. So a lot of people, when we run into them, they look at our technology and versus our funding, and they're like, "How did you guys do that? That's like the cleanest platform I've seen." And then so today I wanted to show you when we write those millions of lines of code and you get what you see at the end in terms of a platform, how we do that. So I brought the machine that we write the code on, and I'm gonna share it here with you. Here's your baby right here. This is the secret to all our technology.
So what are we looking at there, Mustafa? I have a very small monitor here, and is that a
1929 Royal typewriter, bro?
Yeah, I was thinking it was, but it's like, oh, it can't be. Is that a Corona? Did you say, or a?
Whose job is it to He's got somebody in there typing code on the typewriter. Right?
I know. Is that a Corona?
Yeah, it's a Royal.
Oh,
you know what's funny is like technically you could if you look at a line of code, it's just letters and characters. So technically you could probably write the code on this thing. It's about how you code, not what you code on what.
It is. It definitely is. So I think you have a couple slides here. Is that right? We have some more illustrations. Let's throw up the first slide and see what we're looking at.
Yeah, so ultimately, we have two business models, right? One is to facilitate capacity through our digital brokerage. The second one is to manage that capacity through our software. And we offer software for shippers, trucking companies, and freight brokers. But what's really important is alignment and our mission. Our true North Star metric at ZUUM is shipments, because if you get enough shipments into the system, you get to critical mass, and then when you get to critical mass, you can do really neat things. But ultimately, our larger why at ZUUM is our Project 72. And Project 72 is the number of humanitarianism, if you Google it. And the number, it symbolizes the number of philanthropy, tolerance, intuition, idealism, and essentially like giving back to society. In a way, when I watch FreightWaves a lot, I feel like that's your guys' mission, is to help the industry. And I know Craig family came from the trucking background, so he wants to give back as a legacy. And that's ultimately our thing when we go help customers and try to align our future employees. Yeah, so those are what you saw in front of you are 6 pillars. Our main one is defragmentation, but lately we've been really focused on the Heal the Ozone program as well. And actually, one thing I did want to tap on, I think while we talk about like this revolution in technology, the most important thing in our industry is acquiring and retaining talent. That is the secret that makes any company move forward. So it's really important to make sure that our future employees don't only fall in love with the technology, but it also helps them with work-life balance, and they don't feel like they're a broker or a shipper in the rat race forever.
Yeah, that's very important. It really is. Project 72 has great insights, especially on the humanitarian and carbon ozone side of it. Let's talk. You mentioned critical mass a while ago. Can you explain that a little bit more? Because I mean, you have to have the volume of data, volume of shipments to hit that critical mass, and how important that is.
Yeah, we hit on it a little bit last time when we were talking, but essentially, if you want to reduce your carbon footprint or you want to lower your freight expenses, or you want to keep a trucking company dedicated to your facilities as a manufacturer, or you want to keep your employees happy, you got to have a certain number of loads in the system and a point of critical mass. Our larger thesis ultimately is if we get enough traction and we get enough loads in the system, then everything will kind of click in place. But the problem is, even if you look at the largest brokerage or logistics company or manufacturer, they can not get critical mass to have the front haul and the back haul for all the trucking companies to keep them moving. So that's why we came up with our second business model, which is our software. And by doing that, we can actually get multiple stakeholders that are competitors on the same platform working towards one common goal.
Yeah, so that makes perfect sense. You have that crowd. I think it's the holy grail, maybe, of trucking. Really, is having enough data to be able to match that front or that head haul and back haul, right? And to utilize assets to price efficiently. It is really tough to do because of the fragmentation. You're talking about defragmentation, and that's what it will take is consolidation of all those routes, all of that data, which is a huge task. Mustafa, I guess my question would be, how are you doing with that?
It's hard. It's hard because number one, you have to convince a lot of manufacturers and competitors to work towards one common goal, and it's not in their nature to do that. But a lot of people in the industry see the value in that. Half the people are going to be like, no, we're going to build a company by ourselves and get our own critical mass. But we're more of an open source company where we believe in the law of synergy, where 1 + 1 = 3. One way that we've been really able to do it is through our software, given that we share our most secret prized value thing, which is our software, with our competitors. A lot of, like you could see here, this is a version of ZUUM white labeled to another company. So essentially, it's really important to white label it for them, because when you roll out a software in an organization, a lot of the employees already don't want to use it because it's something new. But when it's their company branding, then they feel a little bit more attached to it, and it helps us walk towards that plight. More importantly, I'm talking to some of the largest logistics companies, not only in the US, but in the world, and they're pushing me to build a consortium outside of ZUUM where the brokers can all be stakeholders and own this platform and work together towards that continuous movement. A good analogy of our software, the other day I was thinking about it, imagine if Lyft went to all the yellow cab companies, right, and said, hey, man, you know those other rideshare platforms that try to fragment our industry? I'm actually not doing that. I'm going to share my software with you, white label it to yellow cab, and then if you need rides or I need rides, we can play in each other's marketplace. That's a good analogy.
That is a really good analogy. Thank you so much for your time today, Mustafa. Always a pleasure to see you. We'll have you back on another episode of Put That Coffee Down soon. Thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot. You guys are doing great things.
You too.